I think we wait for maybe another two to join us, and then we can start. Okay. Actually, I'm not scheduled to take class to conduct this spring class. Okay. So we have Nabila. We wait for one more, and then we can start. So actually, I'm not scheduled to conduct this spring class for this June exam. But suddenly there's some changes. So yeah, this is actually a schedule meant for another lecture. But it's okay, not bad. Because in the morning I can do breakfast first. Okay, so let's start lah. Alright. So I hope you guys are more comfortable in answering audit risk question. Okay. Apa benda lah application? Today and tomorrow pula, next week, right? We are going to excuse me, focus on internal control. Okay, focus on internal control. Okay, but before that, let's look into this page first. Okay, internal control, and I want to focus here. Okay, so relating to internal control question, examiner can ask you relating to sales cycle, purchase cycle, payroll cycle, or AKA system. Okay, inventory count, cash and bank system or cycle, and last one is NCA cycle. But this one is getting a bit more famous lah nowadays. Okay, so old question, examiner just pick one cycle to test you. However, in the recent examiner makes around 2 or 3 cycle to test you relating to internal control. Okay, so as per we have discussed in our first class, where is it? This one. Okay, this is my notes in during our first class, right? So examiner can test you in a point of view of number 1, deficiency and also recommendation, or deficiency together with recommendation and also test of control, or number 3, direct control plus test of control. Okay, so in the module, sorry guys, sekejap, tiba-tiba sesemua pula. Hold on, sorry lah, banyak distraction sikit. Okay, continue. I don't really makan ubat lah, because ubat batuk ke ubat sesama ke both apa tu, makes me sleepy kan, and I cannot afford to be sleepy because I have toddler. Okay, so where was I just now? Yeah, in the module I prepared for you. So okay, this question in category of internal control, the first question I picked for you is relating to deficiency, recommendation, and TOC. Okay, 5, therefore 50 marks, right? And the second set of question, okay, this is relating to sales, payroll, and also bank. Okay, 3 cycle tested by examiner in one go. All right, and then this question is tested you on direct control. Excuse me. And then together with the test of control. Okay, but this one is for sales only. For what's this? For the payroll and the bank system, you are tested on deficiency. So I think it's quite normal for examiner to test you on both direct control and deficiency in one question. Okay, so you have to be prepared for all kinds of requirements for question internal controls. Okay, all right, now when you are answering internal control question, you must you must change your thinking process. When you are answering audit risk question, you are going to bring in your professional skepticism relating to the FS. Okay, what are the possible risks that the company might not comply with accounting standard, might not comply with accounting policy. Okay, maybe they record something which is not supposed to be recorded in the FS. Okay, so there are certain accounts will be overstate or understate. That one is audit risk. Okay. However, for internal control, it is, you have to bring in another thinking process. Okay, so I want you to immediately after you're done answering audit risk question, you are going to move forward in answering internal control question. Or maybe internal control question come first, then only audit risk. It doesn't matter. Identify first, this question is relating to which areas. So if it is internal control question, your thinking is basically, you are going to think of the business. Put yourself in the positions of the owner of the business. Put yourself in the positions of the management of the company. Apa pula pen I? Okay, put yourself in the positions of owner of the business. Okay, and apa tadi? Or management of the company. Management of the company. Okay, of course, as the owner of the business or as the management of the company, you would want your company to follow all the procedure. You would want your, every step of the way, you would want them to follow the procedure, so that, let's say, if it is relating to sales, therefore you can maximize your sales. You want to make sure that all sales has been recorded, that you want to make sure that there is no unfulfilled order. You want to deliver the goods to your customer as soon as possible. Okay, so this is the point of view when you are answering internal control question. Okay. Sekejap. Okay. Alright. Okay. Right now. So with that reminder, and also I want you to quickly recap on this. Okay. Deficiency is basically we are going to highlight something that they didn't do. Recommendation, we are going to ask them to do it. Okay. The guideline I provide you is who should do it. Be specific and who should do it. Is it the accounts clerk? Is it the sales clerk? Sales manager? Okay. Be specific. Okay. What to do and when to do it. Okay. All of this I have briefed you during our first class. Okay, NTOC, just stick to these 5 only. Please stick to these 5 only. If, let's say, audit risk, I give you some flexibility. Okay, but for TOC, I would highly encourage you to stick to these 5 only. I know examiner use various types of verb to write or to explain TOC. Okay, but just to make sure, I want to ensure that you guys are going in the right direction. Therefore, stick to these 5 TOC only. Okay. And then number 3, if it is relating to direct control, okay, we are going to highlight something that they already done, and then my suggested, but this one is flexible, up to you. What are the sentence that you want to use? But I would love to use something like this will, on the explanation part, this will ensure, blah 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 blah, or maybe this will prevent the risk of blah 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 blah, yada yada yada. Okay, usually when I draft my answer, I will start with either of these. Okay, and then your TOC, same lah, as per this one. Inspect, reperform, inquire, perform test data, and observe. But observe, guys, be careful. You can use observe, but maybe only half mark. But I think half mark is better than the 0 mark. So why not? If you running out of ideas, just throw observe. I think that will do. Okay, tapi janganlah. But don't be, takkanlah every deficiency you want to put observe. That is not nice, not professional looking, kan? Seems like you are not studying. So don't throw observe all the way. Okay, so let's go. We are going to attempt this question of, this is Dalico. I don't know how to pronounce this. Okay, now we put together for today. Okay, and then for the next class, macam biasa, I think this one will be your homework on the second set ni, will be your homework, and then we will discuss together next Thursday. Okay, what else before we start? Mm, hmm, hmm. Okay, okay. I will do some quick recap on the cycle tested. Okay, but I cannot spend so much time lah in recapping all of this the cycle. Okay. All right. Let's jump to requirement. Let's read the requirement. This one, guys, is the theory answer. Theory answer. If you have BPP, if you have BPP workbook, then it is in chapter internal control. Okay. I believe if you are those from another institution, if you did not use BPP, you would have this in your somewhere in your notebook. Okay. Five components of entity, five components of internal control. Okay. This one I will not brief this lah because this one is too theory. You just memorize the keyword and then then just throw lah summary of what you understand in this box right here. Okay, all right. So I will jump straight to requirement D. Okay, so in respect of the system of internal control of DALI code, one, in identify half mark, and explain five deficiency, half mark. Recommend a control, 1 mark each, to address each of these deficiency, and describe test of control. Okay, a test of control the external auditor should perform to assess if each of these control, if implemented, is operating effectively. Okay, excuse me. Okay, now let's read this scenario together. Okay, it is 1st July, Delico, a listed company, manufacture double glazed windows and door. Okay, it doesn't matter what they produce. The keyword here is they are a manufacturing company. The company year end is 30 September. You are an audit supervisor with Cooper and Co. So this is the firm, okay? This is the client. And you are in the process of reviewing the following extract from the internal control documentation in preparation for the forthcoming audit. Okay, so you are still preparing for the forthcoming audits, and I believe this story right here is something your audit team documented prior to start the audit, prior to the audit procedure to be done. Okay, so this is the story relating to the payroll. Okay, the company employs 210 staff in its factory who are paid on a weekly basis by bank transfer. So their methods of payment is bank transfer. Factory staff, okay, have key cards and are required to swipe in and out at the beginning and end of their shift. Guys, in your mind, please remember that we are looking for deficiencies. Okay, so next, this process is supervised. So is it good? It's good lah. Okay, this is not a deficiency. Hours work by employees are recorded electronically using the key card system, which is linked to the payroll system. Okay, so you can imagine this is a key card, something like a simple card like that. So they use a machine. Okay, they use a clock in and clock out machine. Okay, and this machine will capture hours work for the day. Okay, so the key card system linked to the payroll system. So imagine this is at the entrance of the premise, and then it is linked to the payroll system. Linked to the payroll system. Okay. Linked to the payroll system. Okay, here we are here. So this is a payroll system. Where is my pen? This is payroll system. What is the function of payroll system? Payroll system is usually used for the payroll staff to calculate how many hours their staff work for the month, and from there they are going to calculate what is the payment, how much they should pay their staff. Okay, that is the use of the payroll system. I think 30 years ago, everything is done on manually record how many hours work, total up at the end of the month, and then times by the rate. Okay, this one is 30 years ago. But nowadays, everything is automated. Okay, next. Each week, the hours work are automatically transferred to the payroll system. Okay, so the transferring of the hours work is being automatically transferred from here to here in weekly basis. Okay, weekly basis, every weekend, every week, weekly basis. Okay, so next sentence. As the process is automated, no checks over this transfer are performed. Guys, examiner actually try to make your life easier. Why? Because this is actually indication that this is a deficiency. No checks. Is it not obvious yet that this is a deficiency? Of course. Okay, so okay, you can take from here until here, then this will be your deficiency number 1. But why is it a deficiency? Okay, it's because even though it is automated, okay, if we are not going to perform some checking on this, transferring of hours work between this machine to this machine, meaning that we are 100% relying on the system, which is not good. What if there is some error, or error in the system? There is some apa kita panggil bugs, okay, bugs, some more system corrupt ke. Okay, so yeah, the principle that we need to apply here is that even though it is automated, even though our system is very sophisticated, we still have to perform regular verification. Okay, so what will happen? Now think of the deficiency, think of the impact to the company. Guys, this will be your part of your explanation. When you identify one deficiency, next you have to think of what is the impact to the company, what is the impact to the business. If the process of transferring between here to here is not being checked by the staff. Okay, so perhaps you want to bring in the issues of what if the transfer from the key card system, kan mention here key card system to the payroll system is not apa nak cakap,
Not tally.
not tally can. Okay, what if the transfer hours transfer is not agree to the data in the clock in and clock out machine? Lagi apa? Maybe there are some weeks which the system is corrupted, therefore no transferring of hours. Okay, so that is the flow lah. So if no check, then maybe we can say that apa tadi? Okay, perhaps there's a system error. Okay, perhaps there's a system error and hours transferred, okay, incomplete. Hours transferred incomplete. So what will happen? So what is the impact? What is the final impact to the business? Is that payment lah kan? Payment to staff is apa? Is not to say incomplete. Tak cukup. Payment to staff is insufficient. Yes, thank you, President. Insufficient. Okay, I can go on and on, guys. I can go on and on. So if payment to staff is insufficient, therefore it will impact the goodwill of the staff. Staff will not be happy with the company. Okay, now this is how you explain deficiency in exam. This one, therefore become this one, therefore become this one. I think this one, this is sufficient lah. This is more than enough already. And then it will impact the goodwill of the staff. However, guys, pay attention. As highlighted by examiner in their examiner's report, they mentioned that explanation by the student is insufficient. There is no impact to the business. I give you an example. Maybe you want to say that, okay, no check, therefore, maybe hours transfer is incomplete. Full stop. So what? What is the impact to the business if hours transfer is incomplete? What is the impact to the business? If you stop here, there is no impact to the business, which is required by examiner to give you the next half mark. So must make sure that your explanation is complete and your explanation include impact to the business or impact to the company. Okay? Yeah. So before you submit your answer sheet, look into your answer. Or better, please prepare answer plan before you type your answer. Okay? So yeah, make sure you have impact to the business. So if this student stop here, no marks. But if this student continue, okay, at least until up to here, then only you will get marks. Ni I macam tambah lagi kan, goodwill of the staff. Okay, this is more than enough lah. Okay, next, what is that? So this is the problem, right? So of course, we have to, recommend a control. Guys, recommend a control is basically, you take out this no. Then it will become, must check this transfer. But what transfer? You have to bring in your brain a little bit kan? Someone in the company should check over this transfer. What transfer? Transfer between the key card system to the payroll system. Okay, how frequent we want them to do this? Perhaps on a monthly basis, I think it should be sufficient. Okay, on monthly basis, we just have to recheck. Okay, for week 1, dah masuk ke belum? Week 2 is it included? Week 3 is it included? Week 4 is it included? Okay, all included. Then perhaps check lah kan. Maybe we pick one staff, Syahira binti Cik Zul. Okay, agree back the data in the key card system to the data flow in the payroll system. Is it accurate? Done lah. You don't have to check for every of your staff. Just take few sample. Even one pun I think will do. Okay, so that is the recommendation. Recommendation is basically whatever that they didn't do, you ask them to do it. Okay, it is that simple actually. Question, internal control question. Alright. Apa lagi ni? TOC, guys. Number 3, TOC. TOC is basically, just now we asked them to check, kan? We asked them to check, kan? So TOC, perhaps you can observe, or you can inquire the person in charge, or you can inspect some documentation as a proof that it has been checked. Done. Okay, dah. Siap. One complete points relating to deficiency. Okay? Alright. Okay, let's finish up this payroll first. Okay, the payroll is run on a weekly basis. And the system, because they pay their factory workers in weekly basis, kan? Okay, fine. So the payroll is run on weekly basis. Oh, okay. So if they pay their staff on weekly basis, then I suppose this check over here must be done on weekly basis as well. Because we want to make sure, kan, every week that we are going to pay our staff, we did perform the checking. Okay, we want to make sure there is none missing. Okay, the second paragraph. The payroll is run on a weekly basis and the system automatically calculate the wages to be paid. Okay, which is good lah. When we rely on the system to calculate, it's good. Okay, but we have to perform some recalculation. Okay, as a company, as a staff in the company, yes, it's good that the system perform calculation on behalf of me, but still I don't want to rely on the system 100%. Okay, which is why I think the next sentence, on a sample basis, a payroll clerk check gross to net pay calculation and compare this to the system generated balance, which is very good. This payroll clerk is not going to rely on 100% on the system. They did perform some checking, okay, to ensure the accuracy of the payroll system. Okay, so I think this is good. There's no deficiency here. Right, next sentence. If any changes to the payroll data are required, okay, changes, guys. Be mindful of the word changes. You cannot simply change data. In a company, you cannot simply change data. If you want to change the data is something which is sensitive, okay? Yeah, especially if it is relating to payroll. Gross pay, okay, allowance, amount, what else? The name of the staff, the full name of the staff, bank account number. Okay, so this is payroll data. Okay, so if any changes to the payroll data is required, the payroll clerk makes the amendment. Guys, when it comes to data, it is not smart that we give authorization to the clerk to make changes. Changes is supposed to be done by higher level personnel. Okay, so yeah, since this is payroll, right? So we have payroll clerk, we have payroll, maybe a normal payroll staff, then we have maybe payroll manager. Okay, I don't think there's a payroll director, but ACCA did use a payroll director. Okay, so basically this is the flow. Clerk, staff, manager, director. Or clerk, staff, supervisor, manager, director. Alright, so if you don't want to give authorization to clerk, then you pick lah. Either this or this. Therefore, you will have, therefore you can recommend, payroll clerk tak boleh buat, but we give this task to the payroll manager to make changes on the payroll data. Okay, so this is actually deficiency number 2. Okay, but let's read the next sentence. An edit report, aka log record, aka is in a simple word is actually history lah, history. Okay, of any amendment is produced weekly by the system, but it is not reviewed. Okay, so if I am the student, I think I will address the whole thing lah as a second deficiency. Okay, so guys, even though manager make changes, still we need the higher level to review the changes. So in this scenario, payroll director should review the edit report for any amendment produced. For any amendment made. Okay, so the principle that you have to apply here, clerk cannot change data. So who should change? Manager or supervisor. Supervisor and above can make changes to the data. However, these changes must be reviewed again by a top management lah, which is in this case, payroll director. Okay? So when it comes to TOC, you can maybe perform test data. Okay, how to perform test data? We are going to check whether can clerk amend data. Right, we want to make sure clerk cannot amend data. So what do is usually we are going to use the clerk a computer, PC, laptop, whatever it is. Okay, we try to make amendment by using the clerk's laptop or PC or computer. Okay, so basically the system should reject. That is how we know that the recommendation that we recommend is being implemented by the company. Okay, so tu salah satu cara lah kita nak make sure yang clerk memang betul-betul tak boleh make changes. Kita try make changes, pakai komputer dia. Kalau tak boleh, baguslah. Meaning that the internal control is there. Right, done on payroll. Later on, right after this, we are going to put in answer together. Okay, but I think I would want to quickly go through with you. Hold on, where is it? I've shared with you this one then, notes in class, which is a very large files in the WhatsApp. Okay, and if you flip, you would found not this one. Where is it? Is it this one? Okay, this is actually my notes relating to payroll cycle, but I cannot for this spring class. We don't have time to actually go through in detail one by one. Okay, so you can read these notes. Okay, and yeah, hopefully you get furthermore, familiarize yourself with the common with the best practice in the payroll department. Okay, and some more, I think you would want to look into certain old question. Old question is good for you to practice on specific cycle, because old question, first paragraph until at the end of the paragraph is all about the same cycle. Okay, so if you are weak on payroll, look into old past year question relating to the payroll only. Okay, and you learn from there what is the common deficiency tested in exam. The deficiency is actually repetitive. Okay, repetitive. Okay, now let's go. I think I want to write answer relating to payroll. Okay, what time is it now? 2:45 already. Okay, let me just change my screen first. I rasa macam nak order tea ice lah. It's very hot. It's very hot kan? Ke air je yang rasa panas?
Panas itu.
Panas kan? Dulu I buka aircon nak tidur dalam 27-28, sekarang 21-22. And still hot. Bila lah panas nak habis? Soalan ni tadi apa? 5 only. 5 only. So what is this? Deficiencies. Recommendation. So guys, I think please follow my wording, my methods, this thinking process. Okay, and top up lah your knowledge relating to ethics, corporate governance, and theory. And I think you can pass. Should be pass. Kalau student I, mana soalan I tadi? Hold on. Okay. What I'm trying to say just now is, aku dah cakap tadi dah. Screen. Okay. Bila lah semua air nak habis? Okay, you can see my screen already. Okay, so let me show you, demo to you how to present your answer. Okay, follow this step, follow this style, and you will pass internal control question. It is not complicated. Don't make your life complicated. Okay, now payroll, right? So sorry, this is a fresh copy because just now I annotated in my iPad. Now I want to type using my laptop. Okay, where is it now? This one, right? This one, and then and this one. Okay. Alright, but this one I think it is not nice, kan? To just present it like this. Okay, so as the process is automated, what process? So maybe need a bit more, need to top up sikit lah. Okay, need to top up with appropriate wording. So as a process of transferring, you don't have to crack your brain as to what other wording to use. Use whatever provided by examiner here. Okay, so as the process of transfer, what is now? Transfer of hours, kan, between key card system, because examiner likes to use different names of the system, but it's actually the same thing. Okay, they just want to mess with your thinking, but it's actually the same thing. So as the process of transfer of hours between key card system and payroll system is automated, no checks over this transfer are performed. Okay lah, then you get half mark here. Right, please guys, leave some space. 1 or 2, up to you. You would want to make the life of the examiner easier by guiding them, okay, in stating that, okay, this is my identification and the next paragraph is my explanation. So please give me half mark here and below another half mark. Okay, as if lah. Because I would hate to, mark something like this where I have to really critically reading, okay, this point. Okay, this one is identification. Oh, this one is explanation. Okay, please, no. They don't do this. Alright, so now explanation, right? Okay, explanation just now is apa? Mana dah explanation I tadi hilang lah. Okay. Okay. If you would like to use the word if, you can. If you would like to use the word there is risk, you can. But up to you. My suggestion would be, if your audit risk you use if, then maybe this one you would want to change a bit lah. Just so that you are not confused. Kan? Sebab we as a human kan, we are used to some routine kan. So yeah. So if audit risk question you start with the word if, then okay lah. Then this one you want to use if also put okay. But I like to I like to make some macam mana? My concern would be, what if I get confused? So I don't want to get confused. So I don't want to be confused on internal control question and audit risk question. So I set some guideline to me as a student lah, if I am the student. Okay, I want to set a guideline to me. Okay, for audit risk question, you present your answer like this. For internal control question, you present your answer like this. Okay, so maybe you can say here something like, there is risk lah. Okay, there is risk that boleh lah. Sekejap, what I'm trying to think now. Hold on. Just now I fikir something tapi I lupa. Okay lah. So there is risk of system error. Okay, so basically I'm just going to connect the dot of what I'm annotate in the previous in the scenario just now. Okay, so there is risk of system error where hours work may not be completely macam tak pandai je completely pula. May not be completely transferred. Okay, if you want to put full stop, I think it is quite brilliant. Okay, because we want to keep our sentence short and sweet and punchy, but the examiner punchy. There's risk of system error where hours work may not be completely transferred. If you stop here, still no marks. Why? Because there is no impact to the business or to the company. So what if hours work not completely transferred? So what? What is the impact to the business? Okay, so hence payment to staff may be insufficient and affecting staff goodwill. Done. Okay, so a lot of points, but in a very concise sentence. Okay, so this is the impact to the business. So we get another half mark here. Okay, so recommendation, you just have to drop this no, right? So we are going to, okay, as if lah, you just put in the check over this transfer. Okay, now my guideline is who should do it, what they should do, and when or how frequent. Okay, now who should we ask to perform this checking of transfer? I think if checking transfer, we can give clerk lah. I think clerk is okay. Or if you are not comfortable with clerk, kalau you pandang rendah dekat clerk, if you don't think this is the job scope of the clerk, then you just put in staff. Okay, but is it sufficient to put in staff? No. Okay, since this is payroll cycle, right? Then you just simply throw in payroll at the front of the, of that position. So become payroll staff. Therefore, it will be automatically look like a very specific in charge, very specific position, which examiner loves this. Okay, so payroll staff should check over this transfer. What transfer? Don't be so general lah. This transfer, what transfer? Transfer between, basically you are going to copy back the same thing between key card system and payroll system. Okay, so this is the what kan? This is the what should check, right? Payroll staff should check over this transfer. Sorry, of hours kan? Of hours. This one transfer of hours. Okay, so how frequent? So look into the question. This payroll is being paid on a weekly basis. So I think it's fair for us to ask the payroll staff to check on this transfer on weekly basis as well. No need to be daily lah. Done. Or you can put in before weekly payment being made. Okay, before is also fall under the category of when. When should do it? Or before weekly payment being made. Okay, guys. I think this is the most brilliant setup I've come upon. Ya, tak apalah, tak nak show sendiri. Okay, done. That is a recommendation. Now, TOC. Now you choose whether you want to inquire, whether you want to inspect, Whether you want to perform test data, whether you want to observe, or whether you want to whether you want to reperform. Okay, my what's that? Observe and inquire. Okay, is my bottom two option. If I can inspect documents, I will inspect documents. Okay, but it is not wrong for you to use these two. Okay, now can I use inspect? Okay, inspect is usually inspect documents. So I'm going to look here. Is there any documents? Sorry, I want to read question in the chat box. So Miss, for recommendation, we write 1 point enough. 1 point enough, is it? Only audit risk, auditors respond, we should write 2 points. Yes, exactly. Yes. Sorry, let me just think for a while. Oh, recommendation. Yeah, recommendation only one. TOC up to you. One can, two also can. Why did I say one can, two also can? Is because I don't want to pressure you to come up with two TOC. Because examiner asked for one only, okay? And I don't want you to waste your time in thinking of what are others TOC that you can write. Because if you spend a lot of time in thinking something then which only maybe can lead you to get another half mark only. So better you use that time to proceed to the next question, and perhaps you can secure more marks. Okay, so recommendation, yes, only one. This one clear cut, only one. TOC depends, one or two. I would say if you use in some inspect of some document, I think one is enough, because inspections of document is actually a very reliable proof. Okay, as compared to inquire. If you inquire the stuff, let's say we put it like this, let's say we put it inquire payroll staff. If they did some checking on the transfer, basically the same thing only. Okay, inquire payroll staff if they did some checking on the transfer of hours between these. Okay, so inquire, when you inquire the staff, you will only receive verbal reply, which is it really reliable, verbal reply? Not really. Okay, not really. People can simply say yes, or people can simply lie to you, kan? So inquire is not really reliable, which is why examiner usually give you half mark only if you put inquire only. But for me, half mark is better than 0 marks, kan? So if you like tak ada idea like that, then just put in inquire. At least you secure half mark rather than 0 marks. Okay, or maybe if you observe who? Observe the payroll staff. If during checking of what? I'm just using the same thing here. Okay, observe payroll staff during checking on the hours of okay, or we start. Okay, stop there kan. Observe payroll staff during weekly checking on the transfer of hours between KeyCard system and payroll system. Again, observe, examiner mentioned in this report saying that observe sometimes is not really reliable. Why? Because when auditor stand beside you, kan, observe how you do your work. You just imagine that someone observe you. What will you do? You will try to make it as perfect as possible, right? Which is why observe is not really reliable as well, and you can get half mark. Okay. If you want to combine these two, I think up to you. I think depends on your luck. Maybe you can get 1 mark. Maybe you can get half mark. I'm not really sure on this. All right. So what is the best TOC for this? Okay. Okay. Let's say inspect apa?
Inspect the report of the payroll staff check.
That's nice. Inspect report of payroll staff checking on the hours transferred from key card system to payroll system. Inspect report of payroll staff checking on the hours transferred from weekly report of payroll staff checking on the hours transferred from key card system to payroll system to ensure it's really being done lah. Okay, it's really being done. Something like that. Done. This one I think can get 1 mark. Okay, can get 1 mark. Siapa ni? Okay. Okay, because If you obtain a weekly report, which is a documentation, okay, it is a very reliable evidence. Client cannot lie to you. If they did not do it, then there will be no history of all those reports. So if you're able to obtain that weekly report of the payroll staff checking, so it's a proof that, throughout the year, this checking has been done. Okay, so what? Okay, Farzana Azmi, madam biasanya test data untuk apa? Test data ni, kita nak test client punya computerized system. Kita nak test internal control dalam client punya accounting system or whatever system it is. Okay, can we use this test data here? Nanti can. Nanti kita jumpa ni, kita tengok kita jumpa ni, I brief you relating to test data. Okay, done. Okay guys, so internal control question for deficiency, recommendation and TOC, you are going to use the same concept over and over again until habislah element. Okay, use the same concept, the same thinking process over and over again. So the challenging part of internal control question is actually in identifying deficiency only. Once you are done on this, then actually it's a confirmed full mark lah if you're able to follow this setup, follow these methods. Okay, I think one more before we go for our break. That's a jam dah ni. Okay, just now we start at 2, right? I want to order my TIs. Okay, if any changes to the payroll data are required, the payroll clerk makes the amendment. Just now we already discussed about this, that relating to data, clerk cannot simply change. Okay, we are going to say that clerk is not senior enough. Clerk is not experienced enough. Depends. If you want to put it in the bad way, you can say that there is risk of fraudulent or unauthorized changes. Take note of this word, unauthorized changes. Mana tak I punya ni? I just notice ada lama tak pakai I punya spec. Mana tak I punya spec menghilang? Kat mana? Okay, never mind. Apa tadi? Okay, clear kan? If you want to put it in the bad way, you can say that there is risk that payroll clerk make unauthorized discount, unauthorized changes. Mana datang discount? Unauthorized changes, or AKA a fraudulent activity. Okay, if you want to, another option of answer, we can say that there is risk that this payroll clerk is not experienced enough, therefore changes made could be inaccurate. Ni you think nicely lah of the payroll clerk. You say that changes made is inaccurate. Why? Because clerk is not experienced enough. Okay, not experienced enough. Okay, so what? Okay, and on top of that, the changes, the amendment is not being reviewed. Again, guys, not is actually hint that this is a deficiency. You just need to know how to explain. Okay, right now, I'm going to say there is risk that, or if you want to use there is risk, then you can straight away say that payroll clerk, okay, is not experienced enough, or not experienced enough, or not senior enough. Okay, to make amendment in payroll data. Okay, any error could lead to what? What is the impact to the company if changes is inaccurate? Any error could lead to, okay, maybe higher wages, higher or lower wages paid. Okay, because not really mentioned here what kind of changes, or you can say that maybe payment of wages wrongly transferred to another person. Up to you lah. This one depends on your imagination. What kind of error could this clerk been doing? Okay, okay, any error could lead to higher or lower wages paid, or payment of wages only transferred to another person. Okay. Okay. Then maybe you want to say something like what? If higher wages paid, okay, company incur unnecessary costs. Up to you lah, how you want to arrange the wording. Okay, because you guys are all working already, right? Have some, you can handle this lah. Yes, Ken, that is a nice one. Additional payroll costs. Okay, Abhi Rami dia cakap, this will lead to additional payroll costs to the company. Okay? Okay. Additional payroll costs to the company. Okay. If you stop here, payroll clerk is not experienced enough or not senior enough to make amendment in payroll data, are you going to receive any marks here? Obviously, no marks here yet. Why? Because there is no impact to the company, impact to the business. Okay, done. Now, recommendation. But guys, I see there's two issues here lah. But I just choose to put it in one point. Okay, my first issue is this payroll clerk made amendment. Second issue is amendment not being reviewed. Okay, so I'm going to put in recommendation here for these two issues. Alright, so number one, who should make amendment? So I'm going to put in here, payroll supervisor or manager should make amendment. Should make amendment instead of payroll clerk. Okay, so who should do it? Payroll supervisor. Do what? Make amendment. Okay, when should do it? When should do it? When or how frequent? When needed lah, okay? Because changes is not being, there's no regular changes to be made, right? If I, let's say this, okay, we have one staff suddenly pindah rumah or change bank account number. Okay, so this is not really a routine things lah. So I'm going to put in here, payroll supervisor should make amendment instead of payroll clerk. Instead of me, no need lah. Payroll supervisor should make amendment when changes needed. Okay, number two, I'm going to address this issue, amendment made or amendment report. Okay, I'm just using whatever documents, whatever wording being provided to examiner as part of my answer. So amendment report, amendment report, who should do it again? Let's throw in payroll director. Who should do it? Payroll director should review the amendment report. Okay, changes is maybe we put in on monthly basis. This one you need to use your intuition and look into the scenario. Is there any hint on the how frequent it should be done? Okay, so usually this review things is monthly. Okay, so the director should review the amendment report on monthly basis. Okay, done. Or you want to put in one? Or any unauthorized changes, maybe. But no need to put in objective. It is not requirement for you to put in objective here or the purpose here. Okay, we have cross-checked, we have confirmed this with examiner. Once upon a time lah, dah lama dah. We straight away ask examiner, do we need to put in objective or recommendation? Examiner mentioned no need. Okay, no need. Okay, TOC. Very easy lah this one, TOC, right? Okay, this is where, Farzana, we can use test data. Our concern is, what if the clerk make amendment? We want to make sure clerk cannot make amendment. Okay, so we can use test data. Test data ni is basically, we are using your client's system to check on the internal control, which is, okay, let me rephrase this. Hold on, yeah. Okay. Payroll clerk is not supposed to change data. Full stop. Data where? Data in the system lah. Data in the payroll system. Payroll clerk is not supposed to make amendment in the payroll system. That is actually internal control, which is embedded in the system, specifically for the system. We have a lot of, internal control, right? Review, physical log, reconciliation, that is all internal control. But there are also internal control focusing on the system. Internal control, which is in the system, in the computerized system, in the software. Okay, so how can we test this internal control which is in the software? We can perform test data. I know the name is not macam tak ngam kan, test data, what is that? But test data is actually auditor testing internal control which is embedded in the system, in the client system. That is test data. So we can use test data here. So perform test data by using clerk ID in the system to make changes or to make amendment. System should reject the changes made. Done, 1 mark. This is examples of test data. Okay. Or another option of answer here would be, okay, we want to check this kan. We want to make sure that payroll supervisor is the one who make changes. Okay, so how can we confirm who is the one who make changes? How do we know who make changes? The hint is here. Examiner already, where is it? already give you answer here. This is a document which you can straight away inspect. And inspect is always a good POC. Okay, inspect edit report for the staff who make changes. Okay, only supervisor and above, okay, should appear. Okay, that's number one. And I'm going to check on this. I'm going to confirm, is it true that, did payroll director review the amendment report, right? So, again, inspect the, where is it? Inspect the edit report as well for proof of review by payroll director. Okay, done. Up to you. Now, the first one can, the second one, this one should be okay. This one also should be okay as well. Okay, this is just to show to you how to use perform test data. Okay, done. Okay, can follow this method. I think it's quite simple. Something that they didn't do, you ask them to do. You check whether did they do it or not. The same process over and over again. Any issues, guys? No. Okay. So I think I need a break because it's getting so hot here. So 15 minutes break, and then we are going to look into NCA and also bank and cash and bank. Okay? All right. So next class, guys, it's all about your turn. This class is my turn, next class is your turn. So make sure to absorb as much information as possible today, and the next class, I'm going to test you. Right. I think for next class, the second internal control question, you do it on your own first, right? So that when class starts, you can just straight away discuss. Okay, so I'll come back in around 15 minutes. Okay, see you in 15 minutes. Okay, let's go. Moving on to the next cycle. So in this paragraph, only two issues. Okay, only two issues being tested. So if you would like some recommendation, therefore I would like to recommend the question of soalan apa if I'm not mistaken, it is raspberry. Hold on. Kenapa pula kau macam ni? Okay. You may look into the question of March, June 2018. Okay, Raspberry Pi. Hold on, where is it? Sorry, anak I nangis. Okay, hold on. How do I? Okay, I think I just paste in the chat box, the screenshot of it. Because if I want to extract in PDF, it requires some time. So, there you go. Okay, additional practice question relating to payroll. Alright, so let's move forward to the next cycle, which is non-current asset. Okay. Alright. So non-current asset, the cycle is not as long as the sales system and the payroll system. If you recall, when you guys learn about sales system, it start with company checking credit rating for customer, set credit limit, set credit term, okay, receive order from customer, check to inventory level, issue sales order, deliver the goods, issue goods delivery note, send out invoice, okay, send out supplier statement, and receive payment, record the payment, every month end generate receivable aging report, okay, chase outstanding balances. So the flow is quite long for the sales system. However, for the non-current asset, the cycle is actually quite short. Okay, so this is a recap on non-current asset cycle. Cycle here means what is the process of company buying non-current asset, record non-current asset, pay for non-current asset. Okay, so the usual cycle would be they are going to start with what? Start with the board of directors, approve yearly capital expenditure budget. For my masterclass student, I think we haven't go through, right, NCA cycle. Or did we go through NCA cycle? Hasnun, kita dah belajar belum NCA cycle?
Belum.
So this is it, it's a very short one. Okay, so the process of NCA start with BOD, board of directors. Okay, all directors will sit together and approve. Okay, for 2024, they are going to approve in advance. This is 2023, so I'm going to make budget for. Sorry guys. Hello. Okay, so start with the board of directors. They will approve yearly capital expenditure budget, which is your NCA, for the following year. Okay, so let's say, of course, when they want to make a budget, they would, they would have a detailed plan on what to acquire, on what to purchase for the following year. Okay, so I want you to imagine, this is the document. I think I want to make this a bit bigger. Okay, so this is the CapEx approved budget. Okay, for 2024. Let's make this a bit small. Okay, something like that. So in this CapEx budget, they would have a list of PPE that they would like to buy. They would like to buy for the subsequent year. So this is PPE 1, PPE 2, PPE 3, PPE 4, and so on. Okay, and then there will be some maybe description, okay, on what kind of asset is that, and then the approximately cost about, let's say, this one 800,000. Okay, so they would have this for every of the items that they are going to purchase. Okay, so the company plan for what kind of PPE they would like to purchase for the following year. Okay, and this budget is going to be approved by board of directors. Okay, so as simple as that. So what's next? What's next is basically they are going to order just like you order goods or materials. Okay, so the documents here would be your purchase order. You want to order some PPE, of course you would fill in your purchase order. You would like to buy PPE number 1, which is blah blah blah, amounting to around 800,000. Then you send the purchase order to your supplier. As per your, or just like your purchase system, purchase cycle. Okay, so of course this purchase document, all the common control or common practice such as need to have 3 copies, okay, of which it is sequentially pre-numbered. That one is all applicable. Okay, so after you order the related PPE, then you wait lah for the delivery. Okay, so when you receive PPE, okay, please make sure you check on the check on the checks on the quality lah. Check whether can be used, whether can be used as intended. Okay, you check first the condition. Is it as per what you ordered? Okay, and then you are going to Next, you are going to record in PPE. Sorry. After you check whether it can be used as intended, you are going to generate, okay, goods received notes as per your normal purchase. Okay, but with special procedure. Okay, one extra procedure when you are buying machinery or PPE, which is you have to stamp on the GRN. Okay, stamp what? Stamp like PPE, or stamp capital expenditure, or stamp machinery, or stamp asset. Okay, why should you stamp on the GRN, on the status of this purchase? Is because you want to, as a guidance for account staff to record as PPE, okay, instead of as purchase. Okay, so when account executive, account staff, they look into all the documents in front of them. They have purchase order, they have good receipt note, they have invoice from the supplier, and then they notice in the GRN, oh, got PPE stamp, meaning that I have to debit my PPE instead of debit my purchase. Okay, so when you debit your PPE, next is to update there are 2 things that you need to update. Number 1, you need to update your NCA register. When you update your NCA register, of course, you would decide on the useful life. You would decide on the useful life je lah kan. You would key in lah the purchase date, who is the supplier, warranty for this PPE is how many years, all the information relating to that PPE include in the NCA register. Number 2, you have to update your capex budget. Which one? This one lah. This one. Okay, so if you successfully bought PPE 1, then you just cross it out lah. Therefore, this budget will update lah. Okay, let's imagine this is Excel file, Excel sheet. So this one bought already. So yeah, we don't want to over purchase. Why should we do this? Because we don't want to over purchase. We just want to make sure that we have a proper control when buying PPE. If no one control, or if we did not update this budget, we might purchase more than what we can afford to as a company, and we cannot do that. Acquiring a PPE is, PPE kan is very material, so we cannot over purchase PPE. Alright, then dah lah, that's it lah for the NCA cycle. Okay, so let's look into the scenario. I let you digest a bit on this one before we look into scenario. Okay, I think I want to add on some more. I think a quite important one I missed out. Okay, so addition to all of this. Okay, on yearly basis, guys, company should conduct what we call as a NCA review, or another name is NCA reconciliation. Okay, review or recon what? Recon between physical asset versus NCA register. Meaning that company should ensure that whatever is in the register, this one, okay, is physically exists, and vice versa. Whatever physically exists in the premise, in the company, already record in NCA register. So this checking between physical asset and NCA register, okay, is what we call as a NCA review. Dia ada banyak nama, there's a lot of names, but the common one is NCA review, NCA reconciliation. Okay, best to be done on yearly basis. Best to be done on yearly basis. Who should do it? Internal auditor can do it, or if as a company you don't have internal auditor, then that's fine. Then you ask your finance staff ke, siapa-siapa je lah, okay, to review the NCA. Okay, so with that, let's look into the scenario and identify what are the deficiencies. Okay, so Dalico has a head office and 10 factories with a warehouse included at each factory. So one office, too small. One office, 10 factory with a warehouse included at each factory. With a warehouse included at each factory. So 10 factory and 10 warehouse lah. Okay, so yeah, in total 21 premise. Okay, alright. The company has an IA department, internal auditor. Siapa pula ni? Hold on. Okay. The company has an internal audit department which carry out a comparison between all of the assets recorded on the NCA register to those physically present in each of Dali School 21 site. Is it good? It's good. Okay, so this year program of visit, which has been planned and carried out on the same basis as previous year, means that by the year end, IA will only have completed this comparison at one factory and one warehouse. Okay, what is the meaning of this second part right here? Okay, so for this year, they will only able to cover one factory and one warehouse. Guys, 21 premise is not that big. It's not that big. You imagine Giant, Tesco, Aeon, kan? Apa lagi? Mr. DIY. These big companies also, they have to perform this NCA review. Okay, right now I would add on some information here relating to NCA review. NCA review, I would say less than 20 premise. Okay, around 20 premise lah. Okay, plus minus 2 or plus minus 5 lah. To cover all in 1 year. I think it is manageable because in a year we have 12 months, right? And yeah, if you perform review ni guys, NCA review is not that long pun. 1 day can cover already. Okay, so if they have 20 site, then 21 days is required to cover 21 days out of 365 days. Okay, which is very, very doable. Okay, so if this client or this company have around 25 premise to cover all in 1 year. Okay, and if too many premise to cover, too many premise to perform this NCA, can perform in can do rotation basis. Okay, I mean to cover within less than 5 years. Meaning to say that if you have 100 premise, such as maybe Mr. DIY kan, there's a lot of premise. Okay, you have to perform this NCA review, then you divide lah by 5 years. So you get 20, right? So in 1 year, you have to visit 20 premise. So in a period of 5 years, you can cover the whole company already. Okay, relating to this NCA review. But if company, right, like if a shop like Mr. DIY, okay, this is NCA, not inventory. Yes, inventory, they have a lot of inventories. But NCA, what are non-current assets for Mr. DIY? Maybe what? Some photocopy machine, shelf. Okay, just a small asset only. Okay, so now this company only have 21 site, but in 1 year they only cover 2, which is insufficient. So what if it is insufficient? Then we can say that either some of the physical asset not in NCA register, okay, or vice versa lah, Okay, then you need to think of what is the impact to the company. Alright, so recommendation, I think you guys can think of it, which is to cover all site within 1 year. Who should do it? Of course lah, this internal audit department. Okay, then perform TOC. Tu nantilah we discuss when we write full answer. Okay, done on NCA review. Next, during the year, the financial controller changed the company's capitalization accounting policy in accordance with the revised policy. Only item of a capital nature exceeding 20,000 are accounted for as addition to NCA in SOFP. Any non-current asset purchase below 20,000 are written off to SOPL as an expense. This one actually is a quite grey areas, as in there is no clear guideline on what is the threshold Tak ada siapa pun dalam dunia ni, there's no one in this world give guideline as to what is the amount to be considered as PPE, what is the amount to be considered as expenses. Okay, so you have to bring in your professional judgment here. So $20,000 for apa tu to be categorized as asset, for me it's quite high. Kan, kalau if you times by 5 to make it like, you know, in ringgit Malaysia, then it's about 100,000. So 100,000 ringgit worth of asset, okay, lesser than that you want to expense off, perhaps it's a bit too high. Okay, but this one is judgment. So in this case, we can highlight that to 20K as a threshold to be capitalized is too high. Okay, it's too high. Perhaps I want to bring in the issues of, or bring in the impact to the company of lead to high, you know, lead to excessive purchase of NCA. Okay, especially those below 20,000. Okay, so if too excessive, kan? If excessive, then profit could be, you know, reduced, okay, due to this excessive purchase of NCA. Okay, because why did I say excessive purchase? Because mainly if those purchase only requires to be expense of, automatically the internal control is slightly lenient as compared to you are buying a high level of purchase, large amount of large value or big value of this non-current asset. Okay, so yeah, done on NCA. However, guys, I want to remind you again, if you are not comfortable with this paragraph, are you going to spend 10 minutes in cracking your brain to come up with deficiency here, to come up with explanations? The answer is no. You are not comfortable with this, let it go. Okay, look into the next paragraph. Okay, so after all, we have 1, 2, 3 points here. Okay, for this requirement, only 5, right? So 3 out of 5 is a solid 6 out of 10, which is okay lah kan? It's good. Okay, so we have one more paragraph to go. Okay, I think let's jump straight to the, you know, any question, guys, on NCA cycle? Any issues on NCA cycle? Can ask in the WhatsApp pula, in the chat box. Okay. Okay, I'll let you digest a while. Give me a second. Okay, so let's go. Okay, my first issues is this one just now. ABC of program of visit, which has been planned and carried out on the same basis as previous year, means that by the end, IA will only have two. Okay, then I'm going to, all right, two premise, up to you whether you want to start with there is risk, okay, or you want to straight away present your explanation. It's not up to you. I'm a bit flexible on internal control. Okay, so 2 premise out of 21 premise is a very low coverage for NCA review. Did they use the term NCA review? Okay, they use the term NCA comparison, kan? I'm going to follow examiner. Okay, 2 premise out of 21 premise is very low coverage for NCA comparison. So what is the impact to the company? This is what you need to ask yourself, right? What is the impact to the company? So, what's that? Okay, therefore, either physical asset not being recorded in NCA register, or asset recorded in NCA register, okay, is not physically exist in the premise. Okay, guys, I want to discuss further on this. Now I would like to focus on this. You imagine this happened. Asset recorded in NCA register is not physically exist in the premise. Now, why? What could be the possible reason? In NCA register, this asset appear, but when you look for the physical asset, it's not there. What is the reason? What could be the possible reason? Farzana cakap risk that there might be asset that is stolen, that has not been identified. stolen. So Farzana mentioned about asset being stolen. Okay, so I think that you guys agree with that? Fraud, okay, fraud pun okay, macam make sense kan? Perhaps somebody in the company record additional asset, but they did not really bought that asset, so it would boost up their PPE amount. Can say so, fraud. Or stolen is also reasonable, right? When that asset arrives at the premise, they record, but eventually someone, stole the that asset gets stolen by the staff. Therefore, that's why it is not physically exist in the premise. Okay, so therefore, I am more biased towards highlighting these issues. Okay, when company did not sufficiently perform NCA review, because there's a lot of it would open up. I would have a lot more option to explain. Okay, so therefore, I think, okay, if I am the student lah, I don't want to highlight relating to this. So I'm just going to, therefore, asset recorded in NCA register, apa ni? Is not physically, therefore, either physical asset not being recorded. Hold on. What was the issue just now? Okay, value low coverage, therefore, either physical asset. Okay, I think this sentence is not finished yet. Okay, therefore, either physical asset not being recorded in NCA register or asset recorded in NCA register is not or are not detected. This is the complete wording lah. Okay, so since I am biased toward on the second one, I'm not going to use this. Okay, so therefore, asset, therefore, therefore, there is risk that some asset recorded in NCA register is not physically exist in the premise. There is risk that some asset recorded in NCA register that some asset recorded in NCA register but not physically exist in premise are not detected. Okay, then I'm going to further explain, which could be due to asset being stolen or fraud. Okay, I think dah. I think here kan stolen or fraud is the impact to the company already. So what I want to, I hope what you can see from here is that if company did not perform review or insufficient review on the NCA register versus physical asset, perhaps any fraud in the register or stolen asset are not being detected. Okay, if you want to further explain this, maybe you can say, okay, if you want to expand this answer, this could lead to inefficiency in the factory. Kan? Asset being stolen, so your factories is not being efficient. Inefficiency in the factory. Yeah, I think this is a nice impact to the company. If asset being stolen without being detected on timely basis. Okay, dah. Alright, so what is our recommendation? Again, who should do it, what they should do, and how frequent, right, on the timing. So who should do it? Okay, already mentioned here IA. I agree with IA. Who is IA? Internal audit. Jangan cakap intangible asset pula. Internal auditor should what? Should perform review lah. Perform review on physical asset and NCA register. Okay, how frequent? Or the issues is, this is the issues, right? So, on yearly basis, covering all 21 premise. Dah. Dah lah, itu je. Internal auditor should perform review on physical asset and NCA register on a yearly basis, covering all 21 premise. Or you want to put in some recommendation? Okay, perhaps covering 2 premise in a month, which is very doable. Very, very doable. Tengok asset dia sekejap je, you jalan-jalan dalam factory dah siap. Okay. Okay. Now, TOC. How are we going to ensure kan? TOC is we would like to check whether did they perform review or not. Okay, now, when internal auditor perform review or perform any kind of work, there will be report. Internal auditor and report is like a best friend. Every time they perform review, they perform checking, at the end of the day, they have to come up with a report. This report, they are going to submit to the audit committee. Okay, so as auditor, as external auditor, we can inspect. Okay, IA report for what? For NCA review lah. Okay, between physical. If you notice, I'm just repeating the same wording kan. Just change some wording here and there to make it sound like TOC. So inspect IA report for NCA review between physical asset and NCA register. Okay, okay, for all premise in the same year. Okay, so perhaps this one is an extra points that we have to consider. Okay, inquire. I'm going to inquire management on action taken for any discrepancies. What is discrepancies? Discrepancies is when something wrong. Either physical, there's some stolen asset, or asset is not really there but appear in NCA register. So we are going to inquire management. What are actions? What were the action taken for any discrepancies? Okay, done. Okay, number 4, relating to the threshold. Okay, I'm going to copy paste the whole thing here. Okay, I'm not going to bother to amend any wording. Okay, so I'm going to say that there is risk of excessive purchase of PPE. Excessive risk of purchase of PPE, since the threshold is too high. Threshold is too high. Okay. There is risk of excessive purchase of PPE because this is in the point of view of owner of the business, right? Right? This is not the point of view of looking into FS. Point of view of as owner of the business. So there is risk of excessive purchase of PPE since the threshold is too high. Threshold for what? Threshold for NCA is too high. Do you guys have any better ideas on what to explain on this? No? Typing?
Kalau macam risk of the stuff maybe purchase
Purchase
macam sorry kan
unnecessary.
unnecessary NCA because this one is not in capex budget.
Okay.
So it's easy.
Can. I'm going to put here. Not considered. Okay. Sorry guys, this is my approach if I got stuck. Sometimes I also got stuck because there's no because. Sometimes got stuck also. So not considered to be PPE, so lesser control. Okay, I'm going to restructure my wording. There is risk of excessive purchase. Okay, or unnecessary purchase of PPE or NCA since the threshold for NCA is too high. This one no need because they did not mention about budget here, so I'm just going to assume there's no budget at all. So there is risk of excessive or unnecessary purchase of PPE since the threshold for NCA is too high. Or since the threshold, since asset lesser than 20k is not considered to be PPE, so really lesser control. Okay lah, can. I think that lah. Where is the impact? The issues is PPE lesser, not considered to be asset cost less than 20,000 is not considered to be PPE, so usually lesser, not to say lesser, usually more lenient. What to spell lenient? Lenient control. Okay, so impact to the company is actually up here. So I think it's good also to bring this impact to the company to down here. Okay, so your wording would be never mind. I think that's fine. Okay, as long as there's impact to the company here. All right. So I think if I am the student, I don't want to put this as part of my answer because I'm having trouble in constructing my wording. Okay, Najah share her answer. Maybe the cost will be overly incurred under the operating expenses since the threshold is so. I think this one is also applicable. Maybe you can argue saying that it could lead to, you know, high operational expenses being reported, since asset lesser than 20,000 is considered to be part of expenses. Can. Okay, and would apa? And would resulting in lower amount of profit. I think that's a good one. Kan? Which will resulting in profit showing a lower figure lah. Farzana, risk that financial controller might manipulate the addition in NCA, manipulate the additions of in NCA when he purchased more items that less than 20,000 and expense of in SPL. This might result in loss of profit to the company. Manipulate addition. I think can. But why would financial controller would want to manipulate the addition in NCA? That is my thought lah. Before I give marks macam, why would financial controller do that? Or we can say maybe financial controller purchase a personal item and treat it as expenses. Can quote, okay? But anyway, I think this is not advisable lah to be included in your answer. But Najah's answer, Najah Ainun punya jawapan tadi macam bagus juga. Okay, so a recommendation, financial controller, okay, should revise again the policy, okay, to lower down the threshold for capital item, okay, to be recorded as NCA. Okay, is there any timing to be included here? No. Who should do it, done, what they should do this, kan? Okay lah, that's all lah. Okay, so TOC would be, we would obtain the revised copy of the what's that policy? Of the accounting policy relating to NCA capitalization. Okay, and then maybe we want to include to ensure it has been revised lah accordingly. Okay, something like that. Alright, done. Okay, let's move forward a bit more, guys. You pening, I pun pening. Let's take a few seconds. Let's take a break. 2 minutes break. I nak bertenang dulu sebelum kita go to cash and bank. Okay, before we go to cash and bank. Few minutes break. Okay, guys, let's go. A bit more cash and bank. I noticed easy points here. So we have around 3, if I'm not mistaken, 3 more points, or 3 points lah in this cash and bank. Okay, so we have actually more than what is asked for by examiner. So kalau I memang I ambil lah as my answer. Okay, let's go. Now, cash and bank. Let's read the first paragraph on the cash and bank. On a weekly basis, a bank payment list is generated for supplier payments. The finance director review the total amount of the bank payment list and authorize it. She then passed to the financial controller, who process for payment. The main issues is actually here. When they review, when the finance director review the total amount. Okay, this one is relating to payment to supplier. I saw another set of question. It is, relating to payment to the staff, as in wages. Payment to, no more lah kan, when it comes to payment to staff or payment to supplier. But whatever payment it is, finance director should review the list, the breakdown, the details instead of total. Okay, so total, wrong. List, breakdown, or detail, okay, this one correct. Cuba nak buat correct. Okay, why? Why can't we review total? Okay, because if any unauthorized, payment, okay, perhaps made to fictitious supplier, okay, or error in the payment details, okay, won't be detected. Okay, so what will happen? Up to you lah. If you say that maybe make payment to fictitious supplier, then your impact to the business would be unnecessary cost. Kan? If you want to highlight if let's say you want to highlight error in the payment details is inaccurate, therefore it will lead to supplier goodwill or affect the reputation with the supplier. Okay, or you want to say about wrong, insufficient amount of payment made to the supplier. So it could lead to perhaps supplier tarnish reputation with the supplier. Okay, so these issues is tested relating to supplier and also in previous sitting, if I'm not mistaken, relating to the payment to the staff. Okay, so in that case, same lah. If payment to staff kan, also we can highlight the issues of if any unauthorized payment made to the fictitious staff, so it will be the company will incur unnecessary costs. Okay, done. Alright, so this is number one. Number two, Derico incur a lot of petty cash expenditure, and the finance department maintain a petty cash float of 500, which is kept in the safe. Safe here is a small box lah, which they kept cash in hand. Okay, so it is used for making any sundry purchases. Sundry purchases here is small purchase. Sometimes they have to buy a stamp, they have to go to car wash to wash the director's car. Sometimes they need to fix somewhat. They have to clean up aircon, okay, because there's some error in the air, there's some aircon breakdown, it's a plug breakdown, so they have to call the wireman, things like that. Okay, can pay out of the petty cash. So when staff wish to purchase sundry item, the required sum of cash is given to the staff who signed for it. Let's say Hasnul request for 50 ringgit. What is the purpose? To go wash director's car. Nak pergi car wash. Okay lah, nah. 50 ringgit macam is a bit too high kan, nah. 20 ringgit. Sikit ni 20 ringgit, 50 ringgit lah, nah. 50 ringgit. Okay, because there's no small change. So now 50 ringgit. Okay, so the staff member is required to return any excess money to the finance department, which is the change, baki, but there is currently no requirement for receipts to be provided. I told you over and over again, no here is, it's a risk, it's a deficiency. Most of the time, it is a deficiency. If I control F here and I find no, then here no, then this is our first deficiency, right? Not reviewed, our second deficiency. Mana lagi? Where is the next no? Where is it now? I don't know. Non-current asset. Next. Okay, this one no lah. No. Okay, no requirement for receipts to be provided. Okay, so this no is actually, it's quite obvious that, hey, this is a deficiency. Okay, so now, why should staff provide receipt together with the excess money? Because that will be the proof of what is the actual expenses, actual amount for the purchase, actual amount for the expenses. Okay, so to visualize this to you, staff obtain 50 ringgit, so they spend for the car wash, 30 ringgit. So balance is 20. So the best practice is this one you return lah, $20 you return, and 30 ringgit that you spend, you prove it in a receipt. Okay, receipt $30, return money to the staff member who keep the petty cash float, 20 ringgit. Okay, so if there is no receipt provided, okay, let's say you only return 20 ringgit, there is risk that perhaps the actual expenses is lower than that, but staff only return a part of the money. How do we put this in a proper sentence? So there is risk that staff keep some money and keep some money and not return full balance amount. Okay, so I'm going to further explain if this practice prolong for a few years, therefore the company will, even though it's small amount, the company will experience unnecessary cost lah. Okay, I think itu je lah. So the recommendation is for the staff to return the money or return the balance together with the official receipt of the actual expenses paid. Okay. Right. What will be the TOC? TOC is we can inquire maybe the finance department on what is the procedure, and we can inspect the proof of the receipt provided by the staff. Okay, right, last one. The cashier reconcile the main current account on a monthly basis. Okay, this is about bank recon, I believe. Okay, bank. The cashier reconcile, is it okay? Cashier to reconcile? The answer is okay. However, the bank recon must be reviewed by higher level personnel. Okay, so the cashier reconcile the main current account on a monthly basis, which is okay, as this contain the highest level of activity, and reconcile the remaining 3 bank accounts every 3 months. This one cannot lah. For all bank accounts, you have to perform reconciliation on monthly basis. Okay, on monthly basis. The recon are reviewed by FD who evidence this review. Okay, so this part right here on the reviewed by FD, it's okay, just that the issues is on those remaining bank account not reconciled on monthly basis. Okay, done. So we have 3 here, 3 deficiency relating to the bank here. Okay, so I'm going to copy this one here. Okay, this one is what? Okay, the staff is okay. Or you want to copy from here? I think it's also good because further indication that we are talking about the sundry item, aka petty cash. Okay, and this one. All right. So what about this one? So I'm going to say there is risk that FD unable to detect any fictitious. I'm going toward this direction again. There are few other options in which you can say that maybe error in the payment is not able to detect, but I'm going to this direction. There is risk that FD unable to detect any fictitious payment to fictitious. Unable to detect any payment to fictitious. Okay, supplier and will lead to cash shortage to the company or affecting cash flow of company. Okay, so recommendation, who should do it? FD lah. But in exam, finance director should review the details of the payment to be made prior. So my timing is, I want to say prior or before, prior to authorize the payment. I think I want to add in some seasoning into my answer. Okay, sample check, view payment to respective invoices. Okay, done. Just some, seasoning. Okay, and then my TOC would be inspect details, inspect documentation, inspect documentation which include details of the payment to be made to supplier, and verify FD's signature as approved details has been reviewed. Okay, done. Done. This is number 5. So number 6, relating to sundry. This one done. Okay, next. This one is sundry, right? There is risk that staff did not return the full balances and kept some of the money to themselves. Okay, and this will and company, or to be Daniel and Nico will incur unnecessary expenses. Okay, yeah. So what will be our recommendation for the petty cash? Of course, we are going to take out the no here, right? So basically this one lah. This is our recommendation. Okay, so who maintain the petty cash? Finance department, right? So I'm going to put here, finance department should make it a requirement for receipts to be provided together with the what? With the excess money. Okay, excess money for sundry purchase. Who should do it? What they should do? When? After making purchases. Finance department should make it a requirement for receipts to be provided with the excess money for sundry purchase after making purchase. Okay, done. So TOC, what is the proof? Looking into receipts, okay? So as an auditor, I can inspect records of all sundry expenses receipt kept by finance department, okay, for sundry expenses. Alright guys, there's relating to the petty cash, actually there's a log records now. Okay, so we can use, this is another option of answer, inspect log records of sundry expenses for excess money returned and what, and reconcile with the receipts of sundry expenses. Okay, but I prefer the first answer lah. Currently, no need for them to submit receipt. Ask them to submit receipt, then you are going to inspect that receipt. Okay, last one. Okay, now I know our brain is about to explode. I don't know about you, but I'm about to explode. But last one, can you type in the chat box, what is actually the purpose of company perform recon? What is the purpose? What is the purpose company perform by recon? You check whether balance is accurate to ensure that our record is okay, good. So mainly we are looking at, is there any error? That is the main reason why company perform recon. Okay, so if there's no recon, there is risk that error in the three non-main bank account is not being detected and corrected on timely basis. Then bank balance could contain misstatement. So for this one, it's a bit sounds like audit risk. Okay, because recon is to ensure accuracy, is to detect error. So we cannot run from the wording of contain misstatement. Okay, so recommendation would be cashier again. Cashier should perform bank recon for the remaining 3 bank account on monthly basis as well. Okay, all bank recon should also be reviewed by finance director and evidence. I'll just repeat this sentence here. And evidence this review via I add on signature. Okay, done. The TOC. Bank recon is a document, so we can always inspect monthly bank recon for all 4, right? Because they have one main account and 3 other accounts. So for all 4 bank accounts, inspect monthly bank recon for all 4 bank accounts and verify, is there any signature by FD as a proof of review. Okay, done. So I have about 7 here. Examiner asked for 2. Okay, 2 deficiencies. Recommendation, and TOC. Okay guys, I think I'm done. So So I want you, okay. For internal control, I believe it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I don't want you to memorize. Like, okay, this deficiency, this is the recommendation, and this is the TOC. what is more important is if you're able to apply this thought process, these methods, then come whatever deficiency, I think you can score. Okay, but you have to bring in your knowledge, then familiarize yourself with the common issues. That one, I'm afraid you have to spend about 2 to 3 days to look into internal control. Okay, which you still got time. All right. Next time we meet, which is next Thursday, I'm going to spend a bit more time in helping you or guide you on how to answer direct control question. Okay, and after that, then only we discuss about requirement apa ni? Okay, sorry, requirement C. Okay, so your homework is actually C. Okay, but this one's payroll and bank again. Okay lah, can lah. Okay, payroll and bank again. Okay, so next Thursday, we go to this one first, and then you share your answer. We are going to look into how you answer deficiency question. Okay, before we move forward to substantive procedure question. Okay, done. Any issues, you can stay and ask. If no issues, then yeah, you may leave. And I see you next Thursday. Bye guys. Thank you for being proactive.